Welcome to Empowering the Next Generation podcast. I am Helen Veru. This podcast is dedicated to help anyone connected to preteens and teens to give them tools, empower and inspire teachers, high school senior leaders, and parents to build the future leaders of tomorrow. We discuss about controversial and relevant topics related to the world of education, the main problems you are facing, and solutions to help you navigate your journey. We want to make a positive change in education by bringing on experts that will give you a different perspective on how you can solve the hardship you are facing today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empowering the Next Generation podcast. I am Coach Helen, and I'm so glad that you're listening to us. We are here to empower the next generation, which means inspire education, develop meaningful connections, and as well develop leaders in high school communities. We are here with you to solve real problems, give you real solutions, and give you real impact. Today, we have an amazing guest speaker. His name is George Barlow. George has been working in school for 13 years. He's currently the principal at Belgrave Street St. Bartholomew's Academy and started there as a sport coach. He has a passion for teaching and learning with a focus on research-informed pedagogy. He has an professional learning specialist, supporting schools with implementing technology to enhance practice and pet tech. And he has also a passion for raising aspirations for children and smashing through glass ceilings for those in disadvantaged areas. So today, George is going to talk about how tech can close the attainment gap. So welcome, George, to the podcast.
Hello. Hi, Coach Alan. You okay?
Yes, I'm happy that you're here because I know that you have so much to share with everybody listening to us because you've been in a school for more than 13 years and you're still in that school. So it means that you've learned valuable information, you have grown yourself in leadership, you have been able to actually have a team that you can empower, and you have a lot to share with the audience. So guys listening to us, make sure that you comment, that you share the podcast because you want to really empower and inspire high school communities. So let me ask you your first question, George. How did you start your career as a primary school head teacher? Because you look quite young, isn't it? So just share with us, how did you start and why you wanted to become one?
Yeah, so both my parents were teachers. So that inspired me without a doubt. And then I started as straight out of university, unsure what I really wanted to do. So got a job as a secondary school cover supervisor with a focus on teaching PE. I really enjoyed teaching PE, but back in those days, it was really difficult to get onto a GTP course. So there wasn't the current issues with retention and teachers.
Yes.
So I couldn't actually get onto a course at that time in PE.
Mm-hmm.
There was no PE teachers. So an opportunity came up as a sports coach at the school I'm currently at, Belgrave St. Bartholomew's Academy. I took that opportunity and they saw potential in me and gave me the opportunity to do my teacher training. And then from there, went on to be a year 6 class teacher, computing lead, which I really didn't like computing at the time. It wasn't a passion of mine, but I saw an opportunity to have an impact across school. Went on to the vice principal role and co-principal, and now sole principal. So that's my journey.
I love your resilience, in that journey because you started, I wouldn't say from the bottom, but you started like from the minimum, and now you are actually, you grew after certain years. There is evolvement in your life. And I love how it can be inspiring for teachers or for senior leaders, to see your dedication for the educational system. So why really do leaders feel the need to be masters of everything? Can you share that a bit? Because you're a leader and you have learned a lot in your leadership. How long you've been a leader actually? In high school position as a high school senior. How long you've been doing that?
This is my 4th year.
Okay.
So 2nd year as principal, about a year as co-principal, a year as vice principal.
But I think that's a lot of years. So share a bit how,
It was, I don't know, I think there's almost as soon as you get that label, an expectation that you've got all the answers. And personally, I thought that was the case when I first stepped into leadership. And it's interesting how the dynamic between you and staff changes as well. They do think you've got all the answers. And it's taken me a while to get around the fact that I haven't got all the answers. I'm human. And obviously that imposter syndrome, which is good in small doses.
Talk about more about that, the imposter syndrome. How did you actually move away from it? And how did you learn from that?
I think, again, personal research. So listening to podcasts, doing a lot of reading around it, and actually thinking it keeps me grounded. It makes sure you're not arrogant, which is something that I definitely would never want to be. It's one of the traits that obviously isn't a fundamental value of leadership.
Yes.
And it's using it to your benefits and seeing it as a positive. So seeing that actually it keeps me on my toes, it keeps me ahead of the game, it keeps me human. So yeah.
So how really do you feel that, leaders can cope? Like, because I know that you have been the colleagues of your school. You have like many colleagues, and you became now their leader. You had the title, so it was really hard for you to transition from being their colleague and to really being. So how that dynamic changed? How did you have to really shift your mindset to realize that, okay, I need them to be working with me and not against me? How did that whole process came around in your mind?
I think working as a teacher, you have experiences of really strong leadership. You see examples of leaders that you maybe don't want to be so much like.
I like it.
And for me, I wanted to be the leader that people chose to follow, not that I chose to follow. I wanted to empower them to be the best that they could be and follow me for the right reasons, for the values that I feel like I hold. And again, looking at research around it, Pep Guardiola, the Manchester City manager, I did a lot of reading around him. He's an outstanding leader. He's the best leader in football at the minute.
Yeah.
But he's actually got the biggest team around him. So he's got people in the right place. And that for me was massive learning. I saw a quote. It was, leaders get people in the right place and then move out of the way. So that's almost my mantra of, again, it's for succession. So if I believe there'd be someone that could just slot straight in and yeah.
So for you, it's important to create meaningful connections with your team and know where they are and know what are their strengths. It's the same as well for your students, I guess, as well in your school community. So the question I have for you really is how are you so passionate about technology? Because I know that you said that you enhance practice on pet tech. So why technology?
I think we've implemented one-to-one iPads at school 5 years ago when I was vice principal, and the impact it has had on closing the attainment gap for disadvantaged learners, for SEN learners, I can't even describe, to be honest. It's been huge. And that's where my passion came from. It was seeing the tech enhance teaching and learning and enhance opportunities for all children at all levels.
So what is, as a high school senior leader now, what would be 3 words to describe your vision? What are the 3 main things you're focusing on right now?
So
sorry. No, go ahead. I like that.
Yeah, we preparing children for the future. That is literally our mantra. So we are passionate about giving the children the skills they will need to survive in a world that we potentially don't know what it's going to look like. It's with the increasing use of tech and the change of job roles and AI and all those things. But we know our children will need to be innovative. They'll need to be able to collaborate, be team players. They are the skills that we're focusing on in school and giving that independence. So.
And it's true that now the world is changing, is shifting. We're on the fourth revolution, industrial revolution now, and everything is merging human experiences, AI, and technology. And now there are jobs that are existing now that never existed before. So yes, we have to prepare them to shift their mindset so they can embrace the future even more. But I think what is happening is that they're already in that phase of shifting their mindset. It's us who are not there yet, because they are very in the virtual, whatever they are just thinking about is always virtually. And we have been brought up in a different world, so we have to adjust our mindset to theirs. So how can being positive can transform lives and culture, you think?
I think For me, it was something, I think people think positivity is something that just comes naturally to some people and not others, but you have to work on positivity, don't you? You have to work on it every day to get that subconscious mind thinking positively automatically in the morning. And I always use an example of if you wake up in the morning, spill your cup of coffee and get angry, that sets you up for the day. If you wake up in the morning, spill your cup of coffee and say, oh, it's okay, I'll make another one, that autopilot of positivity then feeds through the rest of the day. And it just spreads, doesn't it? Just like negativity spreads, positivity spreads.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's
I,
something people need to work on. I talk about positivity and perspective as the keys. If you're having a bad day, think positively, take some perspective, and it puts everything into a better frame of mind, everyone into a better frame of mind. Sorry.
I think so. And I think mindset is so important as a leader, mindset wherever you go, because when you have a growth mindset, it shifts yourself as a person, it shifts yourself as a leader, and you can actually embrace the debate better. And I think there are a lot of people who don't have that. And that's why, as a leader, I think being the leader of the school community, the parents, the teachers, the student needs you to change, because the higher you change, the more they will change themselves, because they need to see you as a role model. It's quite a lot, isn't it, for you
Yeah.
to really take on? How do you, I wouldn't say balance, but how do you cope with you having all this responsibility on you? And really, because sometimes you can be overwhelmed, I guess, with all of the tasks that you have as a head teacher. So
Mhm.
how do you still maintain that human experience
Mhm.
and as well do your daily task? How do you like merge those two?
I think you're right. It can become overwhelming on some days as a leader, but you've got to think you're there to serve the community in your school. And our community is a deprived area. And if I keep to that core value of passion and striving for children for the future and breaking those glass ceilings so they can be successful, I think that maintains that spark for the passion and keeps that flame alight. And again, the more positive you are as a leader, the more that spreads through school. And I see leaders as well as Ofsted, for example. I see us as an umbrella to protect staff. So
Yes.
as much as we can, let's keep that pressure. We know the pressures, and that pressure's on us, but we need to protect the staff from those pressures and the children. Again, with things like end of year tests and statutory testing, it's an opportunity for them to showcase their knowledge and showcase their understanding, not a stick to beat them with almost,
Yes.
metaphorically. But yeah, that's what keeps me in check, in perspective, and driving towards that vision all the time.
And I guess you have a mentor as well, people who pour into your life, because you need people around you like-minded who actually can see and encourage you in that journey. How do you, I know I didn't put that on the questions,
No,
but
it's fine.
how do you actually build staff retention? Because a lot of teachers are leaving the school today. They don't want to be teachers. And you have been in the same academy for 13 years.
Yeah.
So it means that there is something there in the academy that you loved, So how do you actually retain the teachers in your school?
I think it's all boils down to culture, culture
Mm,
and your why. What are your core values? I think we put the children at the center of every single decision we make, and staff see that, and staff stay for that reason. And I think technology again comes into this. We've done a lot of work around tasks for staff. So, are they doing it to prove something to someone, or are they doing it to improve outcomes for children? We used to do lots of trackers and assessment data and did it.
yeah.
Actually, that was just to prove to SLT or leaders or Ofsted external, when actually it wasn't. It was a waste of time for staff. So we've removed a lot of those things and we're using that to
Wow.
improve. So
Wow, that's amazing. So you are not just ticking boxes, because I know a lot of schools tick boxes. You are more
yeah.
focused on making the daily task of teachers more relevant to their job and not overwhelming them for unnecessary tasks. And I think it's so commendable, because now this is what we need to focus on. Your vision as a leader is to help, young people. That's your main focus. And because the staff know exactly your vision, you are able to work together because their vision matches your vision. And I love that. So your why is so important then?
Um, it's the core of everything we do, isn't it? I think a lot of the time in education as well at the minute with the external pressures, schools start with the what at the end. So they start with the what. Again, this is Simon Sinek, absolute like hero
I
of mine.
love Simon Sinek, really
Yeah,
good, very good leader.
definitely. And all the effective businesses, schools, industries start with the why, that core value, and then go on to the how and then the what. Whereas too many schools are starting with, we need to be outstanding. For me, the outstanding label, it's a label, but it doesn't tell you enough about the culture of a school, the feel for a school when you walk into the building. Are the children happy, flourishing? That is more important. You talk about the whole child. So yeah, that's why it's so important for us, without a doubt. It's the children at the center every decision we make.
I love it. And how do you actually include a diversified community in your school? Is it quite diversified and inclusive
Yeah.
in many culture, many nationalities? How do you actually bring that into place?
So we've got I think it's 19 languages at the minute. 84% English is an additional language. So we get children, a lot of children from Pakistani heritage. So we are very diverse, and the culture in school is, our children do not see a difference because they are brought up with that diverse culture. So we're very lucky in that sense. But we do get children, a lot of children coming in at very low starting points. And in some schools, again, it's like, so those children are coming in nappies to nursery and reception. We've got a big language barrier to pick up and language acquisition that we have to focus on, but we do, and we exceed national expectations by the end of Key Stage 2. So it's doable, and it's tough, and it's a slog sometimes, and we have to work really hard, but we do it for the right reasons. We do it to give those children the opportunities to flourish and go out and be successful in the real world. So
I love it. I love it. So what would be your vision in the next 10 years? Do you think that you're going to stay in your academy for another 10 years? Because you've been there for 13. So I know that you've learned so much, and this is one of the things that I think it's missing now in education is consistency. A lot of people leave, come and go, but now are you staying in the same place? Because children need that consistency. They don't want to change that much. They want to see that they can trust you and that you got their back. So this is one of the things I believe in your community, is that part of consistency where people stay and want to actually be there for the kids. So what would be your vision for the next 10 years?
Oh, tricky one. We're part of a trust. So we've got 23 schools in the trust. I'm doing quite a lot of work to support with technology across the trust now.
Nice.
But I don't know. I genuinely, I just want to be the master of what I'm doing at the minute. I'm quite young into headship, and I just want to be the best possible head I can be for those children.
I love it.
Thinking about
I love it.
I'll be honest, I know a lot of people have a 5-year, 10-year plan. I've never, since being in education,
it's not your thing. And
I've always just tried to be the master of what I'm doing now, and then
so
see
you focus on the present.
Yeah.
And I think it's commendable. Everybody is different. And I love how for you is the now is empowering where you are right now and leaving a legacy behind. And when they think about Mr. George Barlow, they say, wow, he was so impactful. He's made such a difference where he is. And now the last question for you. What is your last message to inspire any high school senior leaders, any teachers, any parents of teenagers that are listening to us? What would you tell them?
I think for parents and teachers, it's don't choose a school based on an external report. Choose a school based on the feeling you get when you walk through the doors. I think that's much more of a valuable measure of whether that's the right place for you to flourish and be the best you can be. And then for leaders, it's take risks. Without taking risks and making mistakes, no one ever grows, nothing ever develops. And we see that in our classrooms at the minute. I think education is stuck in the Industrial Revolution, sit behind a table, be compliant. Yes. No, let's be more fluid. We don't want children to be coming out of school being compliant and sitting behind desks and working in factories anymore. That's not what we're preparing them for. So be brave, make a big change.
Yes, I love that. I think we need to evolve with education. We need to evolve with time, because education is the only thing that haven't been evolved for years. So now we need more leaders like you who take risk, who do things differently with in time with what is going on. So thank you so much, George, for being with us in the podcast. Thank you. And guys, everyone who is listening to us, make sure that you comment and you share. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, George, again. Thank you for listening to this episode, and make sure you connect with us on Instagram at The Case for Success. Check also my Linktree and become an affiliate of the Success Guide for Teens Academy, a program that will empower your school community as a parent, teacher, and high school senior leader. Do not hesitate to reach out, comment, and share. Until then, see you in the next episodes.